So I've just come back from the Bebe Rexha concert, and in the morning I went to the wetlands, this wetlands park, which is a really nice place considering it's in London. You can get to see the birds. And then I went to do some shopping, and I bought some trainers. I like the leopard print style, so it was really good from TK Maxx. And I've had a few. I had loads of pairs of trainers, but in like few short weeks, I've finished one and started wearing another, and within like a few days, the heel got destroyed, and then I went on to another one, and within like a couple of weeks, that too got destroyed. And so even though I had loads of pairs, I feel like they've all just fallen apart. But anyway, I enjoyed it. To be honest, I didn't think the Bebe Rexha concert was as good as what I was like. I thought it would be really, really good because I really love the music and stuff. But to be honest, I love the songs how they're played in the on YouTube. But like it's like more poppy and stuff. Whereas this concert that I went to was kind of more live music, and I don't know. It felt like I couldn't really hear the words very clearly, and I don't know. The music was just slightly different, and she also sung like quite a lot of songs that I didn't recognize, or a couple. I'm sure a couple were there was the one that Nicki Minaj sung. She sung that one as well, and so she did a few covers and songs that I didn't really recognize. And then I was trying to think of all my favorites, and there's a few that I are my favorite and I really really like. But yeah, it just sounded different with a different type of music to it. So and I think the worst thing about it was that there was a lot of tall people. It was mostly guys, and they are probably about that much taller than me, most of them. Yeah, I could only actually, and the screen's frozen. I could only actually see her about 5% of the time, which was really like seriously. I could barely see her for a lot of the songs. I would only see her for like 2 or 3 seconds, and that was about it. So I don't know. It was these places are good if you have friends. If you're going to these places with a group of people, it's not about the artist. It's about being with your friends and seeing the artist and having something to do. So I think it's fun if that's there. But if you're there, I'm there because I want to just say that I've been to these places, and plus, these singers are going to be like people I'm promoting. I guess I'd like to know how the audience would feel being in this position and stuff. And yeah, um, it's better to if you're on the floor, it's much better to be a guy or just to be a taller person. But yeah, if you're under 5'5", I would say probably sit somewhere on the balcony or something. I was happy to stand. I wanted to stand, but I didn't really feel motivated enough to sing or anything. I don't know. I wasn't feeling the vibe. I think also in the venue that it happened to be, the same venue that I went to about 10 years ago, no, 13 years ago it would have been, with my friend Vicky, Victoria. She from uni. She was in the year below me. First year I did a lot of cheerleading, and the second year I did climbing, and she was part of that. And the climbing club also had a drinking club, and so I met her through that. We were really good friends in the first year. In the second year, we partied like a lot, like all the time. She would kind of be my security. Like we'd always go to the club on Wednesdays and then Fridays, and sometimes other ones as well, mostly just Wednesdays and Fridays. Yeah, I saw her a lot Wednesdays and Fridays, and in the club I wouldn't really spend that much time with her, but I knew she'd always be there, and if she was going to leave, I feel like I would have to leave with her because I didn't like being in the club if I didn't have a friend there. And although I knew a lot of people, most of the people that I knew in the clubs were people that I only knew if I was drunk. And I wouldn't consider them to be friends. If I only ever know them when I'm drunk, then I wouldn't consider them to be a friend. But yeah, if say I was with someone and they'd walk off halfway through because they met someone or wanted to go or whatever, it would always be like, oh, it's fine, Vicky's here, and I'll go off and find her if I found myself alone. So I liked her being there. But after I finished uni, she was still in uni, and so I basically stayed huge amounts of time with her. And then after she left uni, which was the year later, yeah, we met up. She lived in Bracknell, and it was very strange how Bebe Rexha actually pulled some people onto the stage. And one of those girls said that she was actually from Bracknell. She was like, "What a coincidence! It's like a tiny village near Reading," and someone else happened to be um, someone that she brought onto the stage happened to be from that place. But yeah, we the story about this club was that I never met her at Victoria Vicky in London. I always ever saw her at uni, which was in Southampton. But yeah, the one time we did meet up in London, which was to go to this club. There, she had quite a lot of friends in the bands, in rock bands and stuff, and she was, I think she wanted to get into presenting or something, so she was building up a network of friends in the band, and a group of friends were playing, and we saw pretty much standing where I was standing now, in the same spot. And then afterwards, we went to an after club party, and it was really strange because yeah, they said that we had book table, and I think we got it at a discount. I'm sure they paid or something, but it was actually a table that you could only have from like before 10 o'clock or something, and because we got there at 11, they said that the table's gone and we can't come in. And then we spent about 20 minutes trying to argue our way in, and we did get in. But I felt it's really funny because this place was packed. All levels were packed, I think, and it was yeah, it was full of people. The whole three, probably, I don't know how many people could fit in there, 500, 600 people. So to be in a concert singing in front of 600 people, and to feel like loved and admired, and then to literally just walk out and go to just a normal nightclub. It was actually in King's Cross, so we got on a taxi, I think it was a limo. Yeah, it was a black limo, like a long stretch limo. It's an expensive limo, and then we went over there. And then they wouldn't even let us in the club. It was a bit of an embarrassment, but it kind of made me realize that you could be seemingly loved one minute, and then refused entry into just a standard normal club the next. But yeah, I knew at that point, though, I knew that day that I wasn't going to see her again because I liked the band and stuff, but she was wearing more and more black clothes, and um, I didn't really feel like I was part of her crowd. At uni, I felt like I had my own crowd and she had her own crowd. But we both joined together for this sort of climbing club that we both did together. And through the climbing club, we stayed friends. But yeah, after that finished, um, yeah, she like even when I wasn't part of the uni, I was still joining and going to these climbing clubs and friends, because I knew all the people from the year before, and they were still in, a lot of them were in the year below. So I still felt part of the climbing club even though I'd actually left. But yeah, so it was a little bit sad because it reminded me of but it was fine because after I finished that, I started going with the social networking online that you can do, meetup groups, and then Cafe de Paris and Aurora was another one where the bars that I used to go to. But yeah,